Between the Niagara Knights and your Humber. Tonight's starting lineup for the visiting Niagara Knights.
So welcome folks back live here on Hawk Sports Network, the start of men's volleyball action here at Humber North Campus Gym, of course, as the 4-2 Humber Hawks will take on the 4-1 Niagara Knights. Mo Kroshashahi here to call the game alongside my broadcast partner Mark Harrison. And Mark, another big game here that we're witnessing today between the second place team here in the West and the Humber Hawks, who are the third placed team in the Western Conference as well. So what do you think are the keys to victory for Humber?
Well, Mo, I think it's just about distribution. Raddy Kim is a great skater. He's got great vision, and he's got a lot of weapons at his disposal. It's a matter of can he spread the ball out enough to give his guys good opportunities and nice one-on-one opportunities in the block. But Colin Skanes seems to just say he'll be blocking the ball to start the game. So that's a nice start for the Hawks there.
And Kim, rare service error for him there. Very consistent on his serve. So now Niagara, they'll take their first serve of the game here.
Skanes.
Colin Skanes, we talked about him, one of the breakout players on this team, the second-year player.
And clearly he's ready to go right from the first play here. as he has made an immediate impact, been involved in both of the Hawks' points to start this game.
And for the Humber Hawks, a 3-game win streak here. Perfect time to start this homestand and perfect time to pick up another point there. And here is the Italian native Devasiri, known for her serves as well. And you see Niagara attempting to take the Humber Hawks off guard there. A little quick hit, but Humber, they're right on top of that one.
As a setter in my past life, no, I don't really like that decision to dump the ball early in the game. Obviously, there's a chance to score, but early in the game, you want to get your offensive going. You want to give your players lots of sets in the right position to get them in their groove early in the game.
Humber going up for that block, but ends up deflecting it on out of bounds, so Niagara will get their kill here. How about Colin Skanes quickly in this game making a statement?
2 kills and a block for 3 points out of the Hawks' 5 so far. So clearly must have had a hot week at practice, and they're feeding the ball early. But he's proven that he can be a reliable offensive threat for the Hawks early on in this season.
Oh, and just unfortunate, that time Blanchette misplayed it. Wilkins, he saw attempted to play it off the foot there, but a no-go for him.
Niagara's doing a good job of mixing up the tempo of their hits. A lot of off-speed roll shots, with some big power swings also involved.
Yep, and some service errors you see there. Kyle Beeson. And here's Kimon Wilkins, had 17 points in that win against Sheridan. That time, though, gets a service error, so both teams trading service errors here.
Yes, Wilkins and Devasiri both leading big time in that game against Sheridan.
Devasiri, of course, had 27 points. Here is Tristan Swindon. And just like that, Niagara now just cut this lead into 1 after the hard start from Humber. So the third-year player from Whitby, Ontario, the 6'5" player, Swindon, back on the serve. And Blanchette gets a shot blocked from far out. Bit of an easy play there for Niagara.
Blanchette can't be afraid to go up and swing hard at that ball. Even though he's a little bit more off the net, he needs to be able to go up there and take a swing. If he's not going to swing hard, he has to place the shot better than that, right? He can't hit that ball into the block. He has to place that ball and take Niagara out of system.
And here he goes, Blanchette.
That's a smart play. He took the set out of the play, so it's a bit of an out-of-system offensive set for the Knights.
Yeah, how about that dig there from Hudgens, excuse me. And here is Dylan Devasiri.
And just to go back to Hudgens there, Mo, he's moved into the starting lineup for this Hawks team now, replacing Nicholas Quibbin. And Quinton, the second-year player out of Port Perry, really just really stepping up to the plate here, making a difference. But hard to do anything with that.
Yeah, and talk about stepping up to the plate. How about that, Niagara?
Yeah, Jake Williamson there for the Knights.
Yep, Williams, second-year player from St. Catharines. And Mark, you mentioned the balanced scoring being one of the keys for Humber, as we see the service error there from Niagara. But on the flip side, the Knights, that is just how they proceed on offense. Lots of balanced scoring. If you look at these stats, lots of these players make contributions.
Yeah, and so that could be a good match. Like, this could be a good matchup, right? A bit of a setter's duel, and you don't see that too often, mostly because we think of it as an offense. We see the hits, right? But it could be a really nice setter's duel this evening.
How about that? Getting way up there.
Devasiri with that block. So that was a nice play. Both teams seem to be really engaged. They're really focused. Their eyes are moving. I love seeing that early on in a game. It's difficult for some teams to get engaged this early in the match, but both teams don't seem to be struggling with that.
Devasiri leads the team in points per set at 3.8, but of course with that injury, does not lead the team in total points. And Humber looks like they'll be awarded with the point here. How about that? And that one will fall in, and really nothing you can do about that. Big throwdown of the hit.
Yeah, that was Williamson's. A bit of a just nice cross-court shot there, and so we've seen him be an impact player early on for the Knights.
And just drove that one down the floor. Oh, and Hudgens will hit that one near the scores table there.
Yeah, just didn't quite move over enough on that hit, and was a little outside his body. It's really important when you're digging the ball. If you're not in front of it, you have to get that outside shoulder strong to be able to get the ball back in the court. He'll look to adjust on that. Nice pass by Wilkins. That's a Devasiri.
How about that? Ball deflected on out of bounds. Tough to contain Dylan Devasiri, especially when he gets up that high.
Pure power on that, and great set delivery by Kim there. Really getting the ball nice and high so Devasiri can fully attack the ball. If you set the guys low like Devasiri and Blanchette, they struggle more than if you give them almost a ball that's too high.
So Niagara will get the point there, and Kim, of course, as the setter, really leads the team in assists by far. 100, and let me see here, 142 assists. The only player that comes close there is Jake Gomes at 46.
And that's not a surprise. Obviously the two setters, right?
Yeah.
Jake Gomes the backup first year, and Ratty Kim obviously the starter for this Hawks team, and so that's no surprise there. But still, it's still a matter of efficiency, right? How many times do you attempt those sets to the actual assists that you get? And both setters this year have shown that they can contribute and be very efficient at delivering the ball.
And Skanes, how about that? Niagara having trouble there. Seeing the two Humber players, Skanes as well as Devasiri. So far, you see the Niagara Knights, they definitely got to be cautious of those two players.
I had actually talked to Colin Skanes before the game, Mo. Kind of just jokingly asked him, I said, "You ready to take it to him tonight?" And he said, "Of course, I always am." And he was not joking around there. Obviously, he is just hot out of the gate to start this match.
And that'll be Skanes back serving for Humber. And that ball, will go out of bounds. Humber, good job laying off that one, not touching it. So they'll get the point as well. And a timeout here will be called by Niagara. So it's a 15-11 lead for the Humber Hawks here in the first set.
Also, make sure you come by the hot station table to get your swag, and also check out the recreation table just beside us, and they run pitch trails, extras, and adventure programs.
Collins Gaines will serve it once again out of the timeout.
And if there is an area in Skane's game that he still just needs a little bit more, and it is the service, him from the service line. And he has made vast improvements in that over the past year, but it's still definitely the weakest part of his game. The Knights just continue here, Mo, to just kind of really, we talked about mixing up where the sets are, but they're doing a better job of mixing up the pace of the shots that they're hitting, right? So that really is throwing these Hawks defenders off and making it difficult for them to read those attacks coming over the net.
And Kyle Thiessen ends up getting the service error. One of the better servers on that team is Kyle Thiessen, right behind Jaden Milne.
And here we go on the flip side with one of the best servers on this Hawks team, Cayman Wilkins.
And that one will stay just in bounds there. So a good hit there from Niagara. Just trailing 16-13 here. As we see Swindon make another appearance at the service line. As Devasiri had a little trouble playing that one. And Niagara having a little trouble playing it off the hit from Humber. Dug there by Swindon, blocked at the net. Rally continuing on here. Both teams strong with their defensive effort. Big block at the net, still alive. Oh, and just mistimed the jump. Tough way to end that beautiful rally there.
And Mo, that's a huge rally. You know, the average volleyball rally lasts about 7 seconds, and that clearly was a lot longer than that. But that could be a big momentum swing. You know, whoever wins those marathon rallies, especially this late in the game, 17-13. If the Knights win that, that's a possible push for a run. But the Hawks, I mean, I just was going to say they could go on to push for a run of their own, but Blanchette bowls that one out the back. Oh my goodness. Devasiri shows he is really starting to click with this group. He was out for the start of the season though, and kind of has worked his way back in the last few matches, and sort of his first home game back after they played Sheridan on the weekend, obviously, and he seems to be back in better than ever, really clicking with his teammates.
This is David Fountain making his first appearance. A good serve there. And Skanes just mistimed that jump just a little bit. Had a good opportunity, just might have got a little bit excited there and jumped the gun a little. And that's one way to kill your momentum, those service errors. And here we see Alex Bowden off the bench now.
Alex Bowden, one of those players that kind of stepped up when Devasiri was out. We saw him play at the Humber Cup a lot, actually, Mo, and as a rookie, a really great contributor to this Hawks team. Really fundamentally sound, very hyper athletic. Just got that long body and can kind of just get a touch on anything. So if he sticks around, he'll be a good player for this Hawks team down the road.
And we know Coach Wayne Wilkins has a lot of confidence in that young player, Alex Bowden. You might see him sometimes even close out the games despite being a player coming off the bench.
Definitely, and as a former player of Coach Wilkins, I know that he does have a lot of confidence in his bench. He has no issue going to them to serve at tough times in the game, and really just perform at a high level.
Dylan Devasiri, a little big hit and a little bit of stare down there.
Yeah, he's getting excited, and he's playing really well early on here. 5 kills already.
Well, Niagara might be having a word. Maybe about that stare down. I'm not too sure though, but
quick serve.
Devasiri, he does not care. He's just going to continue rolling along here, and you see him wanting that ball quickly for the serve, but good timeout there. You saw Devasiri really had the momentum going his way. So in the first set here, back and forth game so far, 21-17, the Humber Hawks with the lead. So here we go, Dylan Devasiri will take that serve, and let's see if that timeout might take that wind out of his sails here, but yeah, a good timeout as he gets the service error.
And if the coaches could get stats, Mo, that'd be a coach's point right there for sure. It's incredible how often that happens. You know, a really good timeout taken by the Niagara coach just throws off the rhythm, and it happens on league all over the league and all over the world, really.
And Niagara not able to capitalize even further, just give it away off the service error.
Yeah, and you can't do that when on the first point. You got to always make your first serve when you go back, right? Even if your team does not win that rally, you have to give them that opportunity to at least attempt to win that rally. Here we see Nico Quibbin coming into the game. As we had mentioned, he was the starting libero, lost that job to Hudgens, but is now coming in as a bit of a defensive presence here late in the game.
Cayman Wilkins takes a hit there. Referee calls the stop, but Humber, they'll take the point anyways.
Wilkins went all out on that one. He's been a bit of a quiet player this first set. We see him usually on the offensive end, but he's been doing sort of jack of all trades. I even saw him setting for a little bit there in the middle of the set.
And the service error there. And of course, one of the leaders on this team, Cayman Wilkins, I'm sure he does not mind taking a little bit of a back seat there. And the referee, he'll stop that play, and this time the Knights will get the point. He gets a shot blocked initially. Wilkins just have to hit that one right on over. Attempts to block it, just hits the foot of Hudgens there. So big kill now for the Knights. And now the Hawks will take a timeout. Wayne Wilkins wants to have a little discussion with his team. So a 23-21 game here in the first set, as we'll come right back to the action to close things out. here you go, Niagara. They're very much in this first set. Now just trailing by 2. Blanchette was looking to change that around. Attempting that big hit, blocked at the net. This time blocked by Humber. And the referee will stop the play again. It's like double contact there.
And this is the guy you want back at the service line if you're the Hawks. Cayman Wilkins, we mentioned earlier, one of the most consistent servers for this Hawks team. And he,
yeah, just out there.
Just out. That was
close play.
That was a very fast serve coming across the net. Just didn't really give it a chance to die and drop in. So they'll look to side out to win the first set.
And this might be the player that the Niagara Knights want at the service line, Swindon. And here is Blanchette. He was looking to close out this set with authority there, but that one goes out of bounds. So now just trailing by 1 of the Niagara Knights. On the bench there, they're actually saying that one was going out. Wilkins still plays it, and a big block for the Niagara Knights as their bench is now fired up along with the rest of the team. And the Hawks, they're going to be forced to take a timeout off that big play. And both teams tied up here, so we'll find ourselves in a win by 2 situation here in the first set of the game, 24-24. So Niagara will have the serve off the timeout, of course. Once again, a 24-24 game, 1 by 2 situation. Swindon back to serve for Niagara. And Blanchette, big hit there, and he will get the kill for it. You saw Blanchette as having a shot blocked there at the net multiple times, but not the case that time.
Now he goes back to the service line for the Hawks to see if he can close out this first set.
And of course, Blanchette had the service error earlier. Look to clean things up here, and of course, allow the Humber Hawks to take the lead. Devasiri hits that one, goes out of bounds. So here we go. Once again, win by 2, 25-25 now. And when you come this far into the set, you definitely know both teams don't want to give it away.
No, it's all about errors now, right? It's just about not making that error. That'll put you at a disadvantage.
Devasiri went up with it again. This time, though, the ball hits the net.
And those are those errors that we're talking about, right? That's back-to-back. First out of bounds and then into the net. Costly errors this late in the game.
And the Humber Hawks, they had the lead here down the stretch, but not the case anymore. The Knights up by 1, so Humber needs the point there. Devasiri, big hit. Here's Blanchette, gets a shot blocked, stays in bounds, and the Niagara Knights will take the first set. And a big play there from Jaden Milne, leads the team in points per set. One of the better offensive players, and you actually saw him stepping up defensively there with that block shot. So that will do it for the first set, and what a great first set that was. 27-25, as Niagara has the lead 1-0 so far. So here we go. Both teams, of course, will alternate sides here. And it's Kim, Andrew Blakey, Cayman Wilkins, Blanchette, Hudgens, and along with Devasiri. So the player who helped end this set here will start things off, and you actually start things off with the service error. Oh, going off-speed duck perfectly there from Cayman Wilkins. Seen his defensive talent there, and they follow it up. Dylan Devasiri. So how about that? The two staples on this Humber team. Cayman Wilkins coming through defensively, followed by that big hit from Dylan Devasiri. Quick dump there. Humber right on top of it. Devasiri gets a shot blocked. And both Blakey and Blanchette trying to track that one down, but not able to do so. Going to be Jake Williamson, the second-year player from St. Catharines, Ontario. Just waiting patiently to take that serve here.
And he's been an impact player, Mo. For the first set, he was really a big offensive threat for the Hawks, or for the Knights, to the Hawks.
And they're going to say that one is in play. Colin Skanes.
You want to talk about big offensive threats. Colin Skanes having one of the games of his life right now, really just coming alive here.
Yeah, 3 kills already early in this game, and misplayed a little bit there from the Niagara Knights, and that will fall in, so big time error for them. And here is Ratty Kim, one of the more consistent servers on this Humber team. And good response there from Niagara. Swindon. And that is Ben Fillmore with the serve. They're going to say that one went out of bounds. Referee's looking on, and officially you're going to say yes, it did go out.
And we're going to see a little bit of a talk from the Niagara player just to the referee, kind of maybe thinking he missed a double contact on Skanes earlier, and then they thought they saw a touch off the block. So referee is denying both of those claims.
Yeah, Fillmore having a word with the referee, the most experienced player, I should say, on this team in his 4th year. Good play off the serve from Devasiri, followed by Cayman Wilkins. So we saw it earlier, Wilkins making a big defensive play with Devasiri coming through with a hit, and that time the roles reversing. And you mentioned Skanes needing to improve at the service line. Seeing a little bit of why there. That ball just gets too much under that one. Devasiri running there, a little two-man play between Wilkins and Devasiri, and the Hawks not able to come up with the dig there.
I really like Devasiri's aggressiveness, right? Kind of was flying in from the back corner there. Took a nice swing at the ball, but I think defensively the Hawks need to just step their game up right now. Niagara, I had mentioned in the first set, a lot of that off-speed stuff. They're mixing up the tempo of the shots. And that's really, you don't see a lot of that in volleyball. It's on really good teams that you do, and it's very difficult to do because of the speed at which you approach the ball, and so it takes a lot of body control to make that happen. So the Niagara Knights are really making the Humber Hawks work here.
Blanchette, yeah, they're going to say the Niagara player had a piece of that one.
And you know, Mo, as much as we talk about the great shot variation and tempo by Niagara, Humber is just power, right? They got Blanchette out there, Devasiri. Those guys are power guys, and you can't deny that also is very, very effective. And the Hawks do an excellent job of running that, especially with Skanes being so good here early on. They've really taken attention and focused it on him, giving Blanchette and Devasiri room to operate on the wing.
Here's Blanchette, still going heavy on that hit. And once again, Jaden Milne really stands out. I mentioned leads the team in points along with points per set at 3.5.
That's impressive coming from a first-year player.
Yeah, definitely the big addition to this team, and save there. And just not able to contain that one. Andrew Blakey, big hit for him, big kill. And that is Blakey's first kill of the game as well.
So if Skanes can keep his nice effort going and Blakey can warm up, that just gives the Hawks one more weapon.
Yeah, looks like Humber building a nice rhythm here, but quickly they're putting a stop to that, the Niagara Knights.
Milne can just get up there, right? I've seen he's just skying through the air, and he's got a lot of hang time, I see, right, Mo? He kind of gets up top, looks around for almost a second, and then decides what he wants to do with the ball.
Yeah, Milne also leads the team in service aces with 13. That time getting the service error. So a very good all-around player, it seems, and we're witnessing that one here so far in this game. Oh, Niagara thought they had the point there. And they ended instead give away the point. Didn't get enough under that hit. Ended up falling on their own end.
So the Hawks now with a 3-point lead, looking to kind of take charge here in the middle section of this second set. And that's not going to help the cause. And Mo, the Hawks can't feel too comfortable with any lead because Niagara, we saw in that first set, came from behind, took the Hawks by surprise.
And a quick dump there. We see Ratty Kim. We've seen him do this many times. Very high IQ player.
Yeah, and that's a good play because it's with two hands. It's almost like a dunk, right? But it's quick enough that it's not a carry. You don't get called for a carry. But it's the two hands that really sells it because traditionally with the traditional dunk, it's a one-handed play and you give it away by dropping the other hand, right? With that two-handed dump, you hold it all the way through so the block can't pick up any early signal that you're going to be dumping the ball. So it's extremely effective.
That's Kyle Thiessen. After having a rough go here in the second set, turning things around. Big kill for him. It'll be Ben Fillmore. Back to serve for Niagara. Devasiri, but perfectly dug there by Milne, but the Humber Hawks still get the point.
That was an exciting rally, right? You got Milne diving out of the court, making a great one-handed kind of scoop back into the court, and then good read by Devasiri there to pick up the ball coming over, and Blanchette just does the same thing right there.
Wilkins, he's going to get a kill of his own. So 4 kills now for Cayman Wilkins.
And we see the Niagara coach. He's going to get he's really hot with the referee right now, so we're going to get the captain called over. Probably just a warning here, telling him to just make sure the coach stays calm. No yellow card awarded. But he was looking for a double contact there on that last set, which I didn't see anything, but there have been some instances throughout the game. So, oh, and there we go.
Yeah, that might make the coach happy.
Yeah. So that's a nice, strong kill there by the Knights. As they're just kind of hanging around. Down 4.
And how about Cayman Wilkins with the response?
Same kind of hit, right? Just right down the line. Nice hard-driven ball, deep court. Just too much to handle.
Yeah, Andrew Blake will just come right back into the game for the libero. And Skanes.
That's a back-to-back miss.
Another service error.
Yeah, so definitely struggling more in this second set than the first.
Here is Tristan Swindon. Cayman Wilkins, that one is in play and puts the ball at the perfect spot there. No Niagara players around that one. And how about Cayman Wilkins really stepping up here for his team?
Yeah, Wilkins now with 5 kills. So he's starting to bring that number up nicely.
Yeah, Hudgens not able to play that one, so that will go out of bounds. The point will go to the Niagara Knights. They're going to say that one is in play as well. So Blanchette and Cayman Wilkins just hitting this ball in the perfect spots here.
And Mo Wilkins actually delivered that ball to Blanchette, as we've seen multiple times throughout the season. Wilkins being able to kind of switch in and out of that setter's role, which is really effective and kind of throws any opposing team off. You don't really know who's setting the ball.
And Humber, they lay off that one, goes out of bounds. So the Hawks, consecutive points here, 3 points in a row. Timeout will be called by the Niagara Knights here, 19-13. Humber with the 6-point lead here in the second set. Shot initially blocked there, but unfortunately for Humber, just not able to get it over the net. And Jaden Milne, and from what I can tell here from the numbers and just based on what I'm seeing, a very good versatile player. Doesn't really display why there though, the service error, but Milne, we've seen him come up with some big defensive plays on the digs. Andrew Blakey with the second service error in this set. How about that? Dylan Devasiri.
Nice block. Perfect timing. Him and Skanes. That's a big block out there on the right side.
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Both guys well over 6 feet and can jump.
Yep.
So definitely a dangerous. I mean, this Hawks team is big, Mo, and we've seen that all year. It's Devasiri.
Yes, taking advantage of the little free ball there.
Yeah, that party ball was in perfect position, and that's that aggression. I had mentioned it earlier, actually, in this set, and we like to see that from Devasiri. Hopefully, he can sort of spread that out to a few of his other teammates, but.
Yeah, Devasiri leading the way, 10 kills for him, as the Humber Hawks have the 22-15 lead. And here we'll see Alex Bowden. Firing that serve, a bullet.
And that's why we see Wayne Wilkins trust his bench so much, even the rookies. Right, Alex Bowden's coming into the game and no fear, going right at the defense with that serve. Again.
We see Milne perfectly positioned there to play that serve. And a big block, and they say that one will go out of bounds. Devasiri, though, almost came up with the kill. And Niagara, they definitely got to watch out for Dylan Devasiri, especially in front of the net there.
Especially with Skanes in the front row, but even with Blakey, like Blakey is the same height as Skanes practically, right? So they're just up there so high, even without jumping, right? So and then you add that both guys have a vertical. And that looked like a just totally misread play.
Yeah, Bowden just a little bit too back there in the row.
Yeah, so he'll make the adjustment and be ready for the next one. See,
Niagara will target it around there. Devasiri going off speed, but unfortunately for him, just a little bit too little on that shot.
And he was not aggressive there, right?
Yeah.
We had been talking about his aggression all match, and they're really just not anything. And he needs to be as aggressive as when he hits the big ball. It's just at the last second he takes his arm, a little bit less power on his arm, and then he'll be fine.
Here he goes again and gets his shot blocked again. But the Humber Hawks, they will get the point.
And here we see Niagara, just like they did in the first set, down obviously a little bit more than they were in the first set, but fighting back from below. And you got to know that it's in the Hawks' head that they lost that first set after a come-behind victory by the Knights. And that will play a factor here in the late stages, even though it is game point for the Hawks.
So it looks like the ball did hit the antenna there, so they're just going to adjust that. So Dylan Devasiri can cap off his fine efforts here in the second half. Humber just needs one more point. Almost gets it there. That ball was hitting the roof. And Dylan Devasiri ends up finishing it. The Humber Hawks will take the second set, 25-18. So we now find ourselves tied up here 1-1. So stick around, which should be a good third set between these two teams. So this game playing out as anticipated. We mentioned the 4-1 second place team in the Western Conference and the third place team in the Western Conference, the Humber Hawks, two evenly matched teams.
And that's the kind of start the Hawks want, a little bit of luck on their side. As this is now a best of 3 game.
And blocked at the net there. Looks like Kim actually got up there, along with Andrew Blakey.
Yeah, Kim's a bit of a shocker. He's obviously a bit of a shorter player on the Hawks team, but when it comes to it on those jousts, just as much as strength is a factor, also smarts. And we've seen that Kim is a very smart player, so he kind of just wins the brains battle there.
Yeah, Kim listed at 6 feet. Good start here for the Humber Hawks, up 4-0 to start things off here in the the third set.
It looks like that point is going to go to the Knights.
Oh, so yeah, they'll just...
Apparently someone was on the net. I believe the down referee called that.
So that'll be a 3-1 score now. And that time Blanchette just goes crashing onto the floor and the ball goes crashing into the net. And here's Jake Williamson. We've been impressed with his serve so far in this game.
Really just overall play, honestly.
Yeah.
And Blanchette is struggling a bit here to start this third set. Coach Wilkins telling him to reach for that ball. Kind of bending that elbow, not getting fully extended. He just needs to shake that off and get back to being aggressive.
Yeah, Blanchette came out firing here in the third set. Devasiri puts a couple of touches on the ball, both getting blocked, and ends up just hitting it with one hand there. And here goes Devasiri. Yeah. That time though gets blocked once again there. So it looks like the Niagara Knights making that adjustment towards Dylan Devasiri.
And Blanchette too, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him struggling early, so maybe something that the coaches picked up near the end of that second set for the Hawks.
And how about Kim getting up there once again?
Yeah, again, right? And
land. Yeah, Devasiri. There you go.
Bounds, though. So a bit of a rough start here for the Hawks.
Yeah, just like that. The Niagara Knights, they actually have the lead here in the third set, up 5-3. And Devasiri hitting it right at the feet of the Niagara Knight player.
You can do that at any moment, right? Any opposing team has to be ready for just an absolute cannon coming across the net by really Blanchette and Devasiri. Wilkins is a bit more of a shot maker, but those two, and Devasiri and Blanchette, those are just big guys.
We're not able to get much going on that, the offensive end. That time,
Blakey with a dig! Oh my
Andrew
goodness!
Blakey, but followed up by a big block at the net by the Knights, but still the Humber bench there are really pumped up. Despite that, you see Blakey getting a good round of applause from his teammates, and even though they give away that point, you wouldn't think that's the case.
And you know what? That can be a huge spark. You got a big 6'7" guy laying out who is not known for his defensive ability at all, just sacrificing himself for the team and making a great play. That could spark something in this Hawks team.
Yeah, crowd is getting more into it, and Devasiri going to carry on with this momentum.
Well, we also see Jake Gomes here into the game for Ratty Kim. So interesting to see how that'll play out and develop.
Yep, Jake Gomes making his first appearance. Also a very good server on this team. And block at the net. And it's
nice
still
save.
saved. Both teams with some strong efforts. Devasiri gets a shot blocked, but it goes out of bounds.
And after a slow start, Devasiri finding a way around this Knights block.
Yeah, and Mark, both these teams really stepping up here. Making for quite the exciting set.
Hudgens with a nice play.
Yeah.
And we're playing soccer out here. That went off the foot of the Niagara player.
Skanes looking to go up with it. They go to Wilkins. Almost stuck there, but Wilkins gets the kill. Looks like everyone was moving towards Colin Skanes, and little did they know, it's Cayman Wilkins getting that kill.
I've got to say, Mo, this is some excellent volleyball here. Really scrappy by both sides, picking up the defense.
And they got a piece of that initially, so Hudgens, he was forced to try to save that one in.
We had originally thought that this might have been an offensive duel between these two sort of top-level teams, but it looks as though defense is going to be the sort of factor, sort of X factor here, right? Which team can defend better and extend these rallies?
And Wilkins!
But there's also some room for some offense still. This is not just a defensive game. And Wilkins just proved that.
Yeah, we saw Cayman Wilkins to start this game taking on more of a defensive role, but here we see him taking hold offensively. And how about that? A service ace for Dylan Devasiri. So Devasiri now with 14 kills, and no one has come close to matching that in this game. And he's going to continue adding on more. Back-to-back service aces for Dylan Devasiri, and the Knights will take a timeout with the Humber Hawks up 10-7. And the Humber Hawk bench, they're continuing to be fired up, and why not? As we'll head right on back. Stick around, folks, of course, on Hawk Sports Network. And here we go out of the timeout. The Dylan Devasiri. We saw him, I was just going to say, last time out of the timeout, he got the service error, and that played out just the same exact way.
So that mini run by the Hawks only puts them up 2 points, though. And the Knights are accustomed to coming back from behind.
And that ball will head on into the audience here. And a very back and forth game, not just in this set, but all throughout. And this might be the most entertaining of these sets, though, as Blanchette takes a spill on the floor as well. The Hawks, you saw Blanchette and Skanes there positioned for the block. Won't have to make a play on it, though, as the ball heads on into the net. And here is Colin Skanes, has been struggling with his serves. Good job there, just keeping it in play. Wilkins gets his shot blocked, and that's a tough play for him to also make. He's very further out from the net.
Yeah, but Wilkins, he sees the block, right, and that ball went out of bounds, obviously the Hawks' point, and he sees where the block is set up, and their hands angle, and he can use that to his advantage and You might not need, get the cleanest kill, but a point's a point at this stage in the game for sure.
Yeah, the Humber Hawks, they'll take it. Now up 13-9. Colin Skanes back to serve. And Skanes will pick up another service error there. Blakey, quick hit. And good job by Humber. No one deflecting that one. Ball just sails on out of bounds. So the Hawks lead back up to 4 with Cayman Wilkins taking the serve, leads the team in service aces. Blanchette. And they're going to say that one is in play. Clay and Blanchette now coming through, and Niagara, they're going to be forced to take a timeout here to try to stop the bleeding. Humber now up 15-10.
Wilkins back at the line for the Hawks.
Linesman getting a little bit of that one.
That was an easy call for them to make because it landed right on her foot. So clearly out of bounds. And Wilkins tries to place one nice and short, but unfortunately finds the net. Hawks still up 5 though.
Yep, with Jaden Milne now. Also leads the team in service aces. You see Milne having a quiet set this time though. Blanchette gets a shot blocked, but Hodgins right there to give him support.
And a nice step around by Blakey.
A good defensive play here from the Knights. Oh, that was almost a dig there from Milne. I thought he might have had it, but the referee there right on top of that one. Good call. So Niagara, they're just going to try to cut into this lead as best they can. Back to that 5-point deficit, though.
And we've seen them fight back. Like this is, like in the first 2 sets, right? This is nothing new for them to be down.
And how about that? That is Jake Gomes.
Gomes has come in here after replacing Kim earlier this set and really had a strong showing, distributing the ball nicely, running a few nice middles, even mixing in a little bit of a step around there, which is something you don't see too often in the men's game. But Blakey runs it so nice that Coach Wilkins had to implement it.
And here is David Fountain Big spinster for him. And Blanchette just put a little bit too much on that one. Humber team, they were celebrating a bit premature though, clearly out of bounds.
And that was a really close call there.
Gaines will hit that one. Cayman Wilkins, good play in the back row. And a big block. Colin Gaines coming through, and Jake Gomes as well, right in there.
And Jake Gomes back at the service line now. Looking to push the Hawks to that 20-point mark.
That one will go out of bounds. So the Humber Hawks now up 7, 20-13 with Jake Gomes taking another serve.
And Mo, this is the largest lead that the Hawks have had at any point in this match.
And a bit surprising, I should say, especially with how back and forth this set has been. And that one, easy call for the referees to make there. So this lead is just going to continue on to build.
Hawks kind of running away with this one after a very hard-fought first 2 sets.
And they're going to continue on this roll. Cayman Wilkins.
No surprise to see a big play down the stretch from Wilkins. As we've mentioned, a veteran on this team, probably one of the smartest volleyball players that the Hawks have on their roster this season.
Yeah, Wilkins with 4 digs and 6 kills. Good all-around effort for him. And Blanchette, he can't come up with that one. And here's Kyle Thiessen, gets the service error. And for Thiessen, has been very quiet after having a good, strong start for the team. Here is Dylan Devasiri looking to close out this set. Humber just needs 2 points. Oh, big serve.
Excellent pass though. And Milne just uses that block to his advantage. Keeps Niagara going.
Devasiri right on top of that one, and Blanchette, he's just trying to hit that one as hard as he could there, and not much control on that shot as it goes out of bounds.
Nothing.
Yes, go ahead.
Nothing that Jake Gomes can do about that one, right? His passers have to get him a better pass than that.
Yeah, so the Knights building a little bit of run of their own, putting some fight here in the closing stages of the third set. Humber is still up 23-17.
So back at the line for the Knights is Swindon. On a little run of his own.
And Wilkins keeps that one just in play there. So the Humber Hawks just 1 point shy of taking the lead in this game.
And we're going to see Andrew Blakey come back into the game in the front row, as well as Nico Quibbin come into the game for Skanes as a serving sub.
Yeah, both players. A nice round of applause. As Keeping comes into the game. And a good serve hits the top of the net there, and both Niagara players making a play on the ball, and Kyle Thiessen, the struggles continue to pour on for him here in the third set as that ball heads into the net. So the Humber Hawks, they'll take this one 25-17, now with a 2-1 lead. So a big set here for both teams, especially for the Humber Hawks. If they're able to take this one, they're able to be taking the win as well. And they'll push their record to 5-2. And even more importantly, they'll put them ahead of the Niagara Knights in the standings.
I look for Niagara to kind of go back to sort of key players. Obviously, Williamson and Milne, for them, are their sort of go-to options on offense. The defense has been nice from both teams. It's time to zero in on those sort of key guys who've been contributing well.
And that one just in play. And after winning 3-2 against the game against the Sheridan and Bruins, you know, the Humber Hawks, they want to put an earlier start to this, an earlier end, I should say, to this one. Oh, nice dig there.
And Jake Gomes getting the start in this third set after coming in, for this fourth set after coming in a third, and really just exuding confidence at all aspects of his game as he ran a nice little X play there with Devasiri and Skanes.
Yeah, you mentioned Wayne Wilkins showing confidence in his bench players, and you see him awarding Gomes here playing down the stretch.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Obviously, Kim, a good contributor to this Hawks team, but if someone's got the hot hand, right, you don't want to have to, you want to go with that.
Yeah. And that is just two players going up there. Devasiri met there by Ben Fillmore.
And Fillmore, obviously, we had talked about the most veteran player on this team, fourth-year guy. So he's been around the block a few times.
Yep, a younger Niagara team, of course. And Niagara looking on to the referee there. Referee will give him the point. Ball was deflected. So back to a tie game, 3-3. Shot block, Devasiri once again having a shot block there, so might have to make an adjustment there, as it looks like Niagara Knights making that anticipation.
An off third set for the Knights. They're kind of back on track here. We had mentioned the first two sets, blocking is a key factor for them on the defense. So they're back to that sort of very solid block at the front of the net. That's making it extremely difficult for these Hawks players to find their groove.
I see the block that time. Shaman Wilkins not able to get it through. Devasiri goes off speed. I mentioned trying to make that adjustment, and he did do it that time and comes up with the block as well. Looks like Skanes was also in the middle of that play.
You mentioned Devasiri, Mo, and we had talked about that in the third set, how he needs to get aggressive on the approach still and then just take it a little bit off at the last second if he wants to make that off-speed shot, and that's exactly what he did there. So good on him for making that adjustment on the fly.
And Devasiri, 3.8 points per set, and the block. Clayton Blanchette, Colin Skanes, two big players there putting up the wall for the Humber Hawks. Tie game 5-5.
No question about that. Just an absolute brick wall up there.
And here's Devasiri lobbing that ball really high before hitting it for the serve.
Blanchette gets a hand on it again.
Oh, going off speed. Blanchette!
Wow.
As that ball hits the window near the gym there.
So it looks like Blanchette is kind of taking it upon himself here in this fourth set. Looking to make a difference.
Good job by Milne, and a huge block from Colin Skanes.
And the Hawks players are just on fire. We see the bench just getting real excited, and even the players on the court, they're saying, you know what, they can't get a ball across the net because they're just getting met by the block. And it's a large group up there for the Hawks.
Yeah, both teams really trading the blocks here. So this back and forth game continues, and that will be a point for Niagara.
And Niagara finally breaks through that Hawks block to side out. Only down one here.
Yep, and here is Kyle Thiessen. Let's see if he can get back on track. Had a good first set, as I mentioned earlier. And he attempted to block there. You see the Humber player saying that one is out. Wayne Wilkins up on the bench. He's agreeing with the players. Not happy with that call.
So I believe the call, what Wayne is arguing here is that Cayman Wilkins had hit the ball and then the call was off the antenna, Mo, and so I think what the debate is, well, did it go off the block and hit the antenna, or did it hit the antenna off Wilkins' hit? So they're going to debate about that.
Yeah, it looks like.
They probably should call the linesman over. Yeah, and they're going to do that right now to get her angle. She obviously has the best view of that side.
Well, from our view, it did look like Wilkins hit the ball first, and then the Niagara player attempted to block the hit, of course. Then it went off the antenna. As you mentioned, we'll see what happens here.
So they're going to have a reserve here, which is a good call to make. Obviously, not sure on what happened, maybe a little unsure, didn't quite see it. So just a nice reserve, and that just makes the most fair play, able to just replay the whole point.
And that's another close call. And Niagara, they'll get that one to fall. The ball just stays in bounds. And good to see as Kyle Thiessen will get that service ace. Cayman Wilkins with authority. Still in play though. Blanchette. The referee called a stop to that though, I believe, but no, yeah, so they have the point. Looks like the whistle almost blew though before that hit. Regardless, it'll be a point for Humber.
And we still see both teams here, Mo, trading points. Only a 1-point game. So no one really breaking out yet.
Yeah, Humber, they're going to look to change that, though. Jaden Milne gets his shot blocked there by Cayman Wilkins.
It's a block party out here for the Hawks this set. They're getting a hand on just about everything. Blakey again gets a touch on that.
Yep, Swindon wants to take a little bit off that hit, and here come the Humber Hawks. We mentioned one team not breaking away, but the Humber Hawks, they look to be doing just that here on a nice little run.
Yeah, extending that lead to 3, and especially as we approach sort of the middle stage of this game, that's where the feeling out process of how this set dynamic is starting to get clearer, and then each team can kind of just go from there. But that missed serve there hurts the Hawks' momentum. Niagara, this whole match really has come with very timely stops to really prevent large runs by the Hawks, right? It's only really been 3 or 4 point runs. They haven't really been on a big sort of 7 or 8 point run in this match so far.
Blanchette gets a shot blocked, and he won't get a shot blocked there, but Niagara, they'll still get the point. So now just down by 1, Tristan Swindon with the serve. And that one straight into the net. Oh, nice dig there from Wilkins.
And that's a smart play by the Hawks block. They went off for that block, Mo, and at the last second, they saw that Milne was going to try and wipe it off out of bounds. So they pulled their hands away, and ended up ball just going right out of bounds.
And how about Cayman Wilkins here? Service ace.
Yeah. And they're going to look to push the tempo here. And there we go.
Wilkins. Another service ace.
And I would not be surprised to see a timeout here by the Knights. Yeah,
yep.
And there it is. That's that tempo that the Hawks love to play with. And the Knights have done a good job. Their coaching staff, give them credit. They've called very, very timely timeouts and really prevented the Hawks from going on those runs. And the Hawks have not really been able to come out of the timeout as strong as they went into it.
We've even seen a few times out of those timeouts, service errors followed up after the break and play, so we'll see what happens here. Regardless, the Humber Hawks up 14-9.
So Wilkins still serving as we exit the timeout by the Niagara Knights. And he looks to continue this service run.
And he does. Wow.
Right back at Milne.
Yeah, Milne, he's been having all sorts of trouble receiving these serves, especially from Cayman Wilkins.
And you know, Mo, Milne, as great as he's been this whole match, we forget that he's a first-year player, right? So this may be a little bit of those rookie jitters kind of showing on this service event. Obviously, Wilkins missing that serve there. But if you get targeted, it's very difficult for you to kind of shake that off when you haven't been in the league with these guys who know how to kind of get under your skin.
Yeah, it looks like the Hawks now picking up on that tendency from the first-year player, getting the point there as well.
So what was a one-point game for most of the first 20 or so points has now extended to a 6-point lead for the Hawks here. But the Hawks kind of shooting themselves in the foot with 2 back-to-back service errors.
So still within reach for the Niagara Knights, trailing by 5, 16-11. And now Milne, he'll be flipping the roles here, taking the serve himself. And how about that, picking out Cayman Wilkins.
Devasiri with the kill. As I look over here on our kill board, we see a pretty balanced attack. We have Blanchette and Wilkins both with 7 kills. Devasiri, the clear leader, with 15. And then Skanes and Blakey kind of also contributing here and there.
Yep.
So a nicely balanced attack, like we had talked about, is sort of one of the key to the games. Victory. Yeah, a nicely balanced attack. And Ratty Kim was obviously the starting setter, but Jake Gomes has come in here in this fourth, and after the third set, and now this fourth set, and really shown to be another great, had a really great game.
Oh, Devasiri gets up there.
And Skanes tried to put it down.
That one will go out of bounds. Cayman Wilkins, good job, heads up play. So 18-12 now.
And we're gonna have a switched call here. After the up ref had originally made the call to the Hawks, he now signals that it would be Niagara's point after a touch off the block.
And with every point having a lot of meaning to that, you know, Niagara very happy with that call. So it'll be 17-13, but just like that, giving it away. So back to a 5-point lead for Humber.
And the Knights, we've mentioned, they came back in that first set. Obviously, scrappy team play, but if they keep making errors like that, that just makes it that much harder for them to fight back here in the later stages of this match and this set.
Wilkins, and frustrated with himself as the ball will go into the net. Milne, good defensive play from him. Stopping that shot from Devasiri, but that one will go out of bounds. Linesman all over this call. 19-14, Humber just trotting along here.
And now you see Devasiri back at the line for the Hawks. Been a pretty consistent server for this team tonight.
They've been consistent with pretty much every aspect in this game, but here we go, the service error.
So after a nice run to extend the lead to 5 or 6 points, the Hawks and even now the Knights are kind of a symphony of errors here the last few rallies. Not the nicest volleyball.
I'm going to say they got a piece of it. Yeah, referee almost awarding that point to Niagara, but checking on with the other official, making the right call.
So we're going to see Andrew Blakey come back into the game along with Alex Bowden in for Colin Skanes as a serving sub. Something that Coach Wilkins likes to do. Bring players that add a little more of that defensive intensity, right? Also, maybe a more consistent server. We've seen Alex Bowden throughout his young career here as a Hawk. Excellent server.
Making a play on that ball as well as Wilkins. Gonna hit that one in. Giving a little shimmy as well for a little celebration. And a good sub, of course, from Wayne Wilkins. Part of what makes him such a successful coach in his 24th year. But Bowden, that time, will get the service error.
Yeah, just a missed toss there. Kind of an awkward toss. I saw him as he went up, and it was a bit too low for him. Couldn't quite make the adjustment. But again, as you say, he's a rookie, so he's not necessarily allowed to make those errors, but they're more understandable than if is a veteran such as Cayman Wilkins would make an error like that. But Wayne Wilkins would preach that no errors are acceptable after 20.
That one will go out of bounds, so 21-17 now. And the Knights, they got to string together some consecutive points here if they have any hopes of getting back into this game.
I look for Gomes to hit up Blakey here. He hasn't had a ball in a while. If they can get him a nice pass.
Oh, and Humber, a lucky point for them. Devasiri had to play that ball from very far out. Still gets the point, though.
And now the Hawks are just 3 points away from taking the set and ultimately the match.
Yeah, looking to extend their win streak to 4. And Cayman Wilkins, it's been working really well for him. Another service ace. Seems like he's been picking out the right players every single time.
Definitely. And that's, again, that veteran, right? We talk about him almost every game and just the intangibles that he brings, but there's also that error that I was talking about that you can't have after 20.
So Borgardini will take the serve.
Ooh, and Blakey.
Just out of bounds, though. Yeah, Blakey had a perfectly placed ball to get the kill. Just couldn't make the most of it, though.
So I look for Blanchette, Wilkins, and Devasiri the rest of the way here.
Can't give those errors away. That just puts the Humber Hawks 1 point away from taking the victory. So game point here with Clay and Blanchette at the service line. And Blanchette, also one of the leaders on this team, of course. Fires that serve in. Here's Milne, gets a shot blocked. Still kept in play. Milne again. To Devasiri, and that will end the game. Dylan Devasiri leads the way. 16 kills for him to finish off this game as well. Very fitting ending. So after dropping the first set 25-27, the Humber Hawks will win the final set here, the fourth set 25-19. They win the second set 25-18, and the third set they also won 25-17. So the Humber Hawks now will go 5-2. Niagara will be now 4-2. And of course, up next for the Humber Hawks on the schedule, December 2nd, they'll be facing the Cambrian Golden Shield. That game will start at 8 p.m. And of course, that game will also be broadcasted live on Hawks Sports Network. So for my broadcast partner, Mark Harrison, along with Mo Khosrowshahi, thank you for joining us here on HSN, and we will see you next time.